Good afternoon and welcome to the Cannabis World Congress and Business Expo live stream, where we bring you the latest and greatest for the industry every week at 4 p.m. and have you on your way by 4:20. I'm Gretchen Gailey, the Chief Strategy Officer for CWCBExpo, and I'll be talking with industry experts, influencers, and a few cannabis OGs with a focus on the New York burgeoning market. This week, I'm speaking with the amazing, talented, beautiful Thunder Walker, the CEO of Women Pushing Dirt. I met her a few months ago at Consumption Park in Phoenix. Is Thunder here?
Yes. Hi.
Love to see you, Thunder. Where can we pop up Thunder? There she is. Fantastic. It is so good to see you again. It has been too long. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I am good. We are so looking forward to having you join us at CWCBExpo. You're going to be moderating one of our panels,
Yes.
Entrepreneurs, Change Makers, and Heroes, especially since you fit into that billing in every category. We figured you would be best for that. Can you tell us a bit more about your entrance into the cannabis space and why you decided to join?
Well, thank you for having me, first off. Let me just start by cannabis has been something that I truly had a revolving type of relationship with because you really have to understand everything that the cannabis plant is capable of doing. So, in my younger years, I was in the legacy market, and then from there, we went through so many different changes as a parent, as a woman. The grand finale, which is menopause. I've experienced so many different things that cannabis has helped me with. But how I actually got into cannabis and understanding the wellness aspect of cannabis is through my daughter. My daughter has autism. She's nonverbal, and we tried everything we possibly could to help her have her best life. I was going to different therapists every day. I was not even buying clothes for her to go skating or to go to birthday parties or just to live a child life. I was actually buying outfits one day at Target, and I was literally there picking out another outfit to go to another specialist. And something just clicked, something changed for me. And then I started looking into CBD and then hemp, and then made my way into cannabis for her as a caregiver and a mom of a patient that needs this type of wellness. And that's kind of how I got in. And then I moved my business because I've always been into real estate. I have a background in real estate. I love real estate construction. And I got into real estate based off of my dad giving me a 3-story Barbie dream house when I was 10 years old. And I had to put it together. So I had my directions, which are plans and specs, and I had to put it together on Christmas morning. I got that thing together, and I loved real estate ever since. So I combined the cannabis and also the real estate aspect and created my business, which is Women Pushing Dirt, and also helping my daughter, who is a cannabis patient, because she has autism and she's nonverbal. So I've just really seen a basically a 360 in my life that really is improving because of cannabis.
So you've been looking at the industry from multiple aspects your entire
Yeah.
time in it. That,
Yes.
that's amazing. And I know that we always hear so many stories from folks that the way they enter is generally on the medical side.
Mhm.
Um, uh, and I think at times like New York, we're working on legalizing up in New York and getting that whole market up and running. And there are always concerns about the medical market and where it's going from there.
Mhm.
Um, but another big concern in New York is real estate. Real estate is king in New York, as you know. Um,
Absolutely.
a lot of folks, a lot of the licensees that we've been hearing about um, have been having trouble in that department. That is what the big holdup is. What tips or advice can you give to those who are trying to find some space for their cannabis businesses?
Well, New York is really doing something that most states have had to do once cannabis became legal, especially once it became a rec. They had to establish what's called a green zone. And the green zone basically is an area within the city that is 420 friendly. So you'll see people refer to it as a green zone. The reason why they're having a lot of difficulty with that is because really people have a problem with understanding what's going to happen to the property. They have just really, really bad information. So when you decide that you want to start looking for a property, you want to look for a landlord that is 420 friendly. And you want to be able to explain that the walls will not soak in the smell of cannabis, because that's a big deal in this industry, the smell of the product. And so it does not affect the real estate whatsoever. If you have cannabis inside of the property, it doesn't absorb the smell. Like some other things may absorb smell, cannabis does not. But what I love about the fact of having a green zone, it actually raises the value of the property. So if you can explain that to a potential landlord, that it's going to actually increase their value in the property because they have a whole nother asset. My background is cannabis real estate and cannabis appraisals. So what it will do is what's called the highest and best use of real estate. That is an appraisal term. And so it will raise the value of the property. It will also help in different communities, such as with the utilities aspect, because sometimes utility companies will charge a little bit more to the cannabis industry to help cover some of the cost of extra use. So that's going to give some tax breaks and also some cost breaks to individuals in their area. So there's so many different ways that this can be structured, whether it's a co-op or not, to improve the community. And the 420 green zone, I want to just keep saying green zone so you'll be able to hear that, to help with landlords and property owners. Now, if you're lucky enough to be able to buy real estate in New York, I would tell you to go ahead and make those purchases. You have to understand the requirements of the property being so many square feet away from a school or maybe a church. There's a lot of different things that go into looking for a property to actually host a cannabis business, but it's definitely worth it. So whether you're a dispensary, whether you're a grow, whether you're a 420, maybe Airbnb, or a lounge, whatever you're trying to do in that space, you really, really want to be able to see what the laws are and the zoning in that area. And so for me, I'm a specialist in that. You will be able to find other specialists in your area, but ask those questions. And then the last thing that I want to share with people too about finding cannabis real estate, it doesn't actually all have to be physical. There's virtual real estate in cannabis too. And so I always tell people to look at buying an address, a website address that's cannabis friendly. And so if you don't have a lot of money to actually purchase properties or lease a property, you might even want to purchase an address. Hold on to it, and it will be worth money. You can sell it later on. So that's the virtual side of real estate and cannabis.
Other than the smell, what other stigmas do you think stick out in landlords' minds that we have to try and overcome?
Well, they really think that people are consuming on the property. They also believe that there's going to be a lot of cash left in the property. And sometimes that's true. But you can safeguard your property by installing a safe room. I recommend that to everyone that's actually starting, whether it's a dispensary, a grow, a processing, or a full cultivation area, to really segregate the building to the best use that you can. So you would probably create a safe room, and then inside of the safe room, put the safe in there and have that bonded down. But they're really looking at, will their insurance company, and if they still have a mortgage on the property, how will they address that? Because sometimes that's an issue. A lot of landowners, a lot of building owners, commercial building owners have to look at in their deeds and in their notes if there is any type of clause about cannabis or about uh, plant medicine is what I want to call it. If there is, then what would need to be done is to address that with the bank holder.
Okay. Right now in New York, the illicit market is just running rampant. Not that it wasn't before, but with these new pop-up shops, They're
Yes.
saying perhaps 1,500 pop-up shops. And I know that the city is looking at different ways of cracking down on them. And one of them is through the landlords and possibly fining them. Um, how do you convey to a landlord who I know if they have no interest or at least familiarity with cannabis, how do you convince them you're a legit operator, you're looking to run a legal business, fully licensed? How do you communicate that and not have people look at you like you're just a stoner?
I'm so glad that you asked that particular question. Everything that we need to do with cannabis real estate is education. I try to, and that's how we met, Gretchen. I try to really, really educate people from the couch. It's like, you don't even have to move. I'm going to try to teach you this whole thing from your couch. And so, the way that you would want to do that is actually walk them through the science of what you're doing and what your patients, and the people that would service your business, how they would respond. And I would get some recommendations, some information to them. I also would walk them through what it's like in other states, some video, and what your plans are. The best business plan for New York, for a person that wants to get into this industry and to acquire real estate, is to be able to give them a 3-minute presentation on what they would be doing day to day. I actually practice this throughout my training for other people. I open dispensaries, grows, and processing places throughout the country. And one of the things that I highlight is just a quick video of what this is about. So I talk to the scientists, I talk to the growers, I show them how we literally mix up the foods and the teas that go into the plant. I actually show them the equipment and the machines that are needed to process the products. And some of those machines are $600,000 and $700,000. This is expensive equipment. These are specialists that are out there running these businesses, and they have the know-how to move forward. Really, there's nothing that's been new in this industry. All these things have been done before and duplicated through each state. So one of the things that you would want to do is provide them with a detailed business plan in video, because we have a short attention span, to help them understand what you intend to do in their space. And once they get that, and then they understand that you're raising the value of their property, it should be a go.
Okay. Frankly, Thunder, this is, I think, amazing advice that I think a lot of folks could use up in New York. I just want to remind those who are watching our feed here that there is a promo code that is going along the bottom of your screen. It will get you a free expo pass and 20% off of the programming pass, and it's Thunder W. Please use it many times and often. We would love to see you at the expo and give you a chance to meet Thunder. You were out in Oklahoma. We have all heard so many things about Oklahoma being truly the wild, wild west of cannabis. It is a thriving market, to say the least. What advice would you, from what you've seen in Oklahoma, what would you share to New York to get it on the right narrow path?
Okay, first of all, I need to tell New York, Oklahoma has taken your song. You know, New York is New York, New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Well, in the cannabis industry, Oklahoma is, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Okay. It is a little bit of the wild, wild west. We had a very low entry fee to get into the industry. Our licenses, when we first started, was only $2,500.
Wow.
So it made it where anyone would be able to get into this business. And they even offered training when you first came into this business. And so we had a lot of people get in. A lot of people stayed in. They did really, really well. Now we have a moratorium right now. And so that's really affecting. We're not offering any processing, grow, or dispensary license right now. And that's for 2 years, and it may be extended. As you guys probably know, rec did not pass in Oklahoma. We just had a vote for that, and it didn't pass. And we're trying to our best to kind of correct some of the things that are happening out here. And it is the wild, wild west. But what I can say to you is learn from our mistakes and learn from everything that we did well. For some of the people that are in New York that are doing businesses that are not legal, you really have to dial that back you may not be able to get rid of everyone, but it has to be dialed back because it's going to affect the cost of the product and the profit of the product. So you're really not really helping yourself or anybody else with doing that. So there's so many things that you can learn from this great state of Oklahoma and how we went in full fledged. We dived into the deep end and we were able to swim. And so I think New York is going to have that same aspect of being able to put the brakes on some of the things that they need to put the brakes on. But the people that are out there that are legitimately trying to open their businesses, they're going to be successful. And I wish them well. I can't wait to see you guys in New York. Definitely peek in and talk to me. Pull me to the side. If you see me in the hallway, I'm going to ask you for your hall pass. Get in here and see us. It's going to be great.
Well, and another thing that I really would love for you to touch on is your advocacy work. I know you have traveled around the country talking to folks. This industry sometimes I think borders on apathetic and just waiting for someone else to do it for them. What advice do you give to those? Because I know New York is working on their regs constantly, always changing, and we need the citizens out there actually voicing what they need to see in their communities. What advice do you give to people there?
Well, let's be honest. Rome is not built in a day. Things are not going to always be perfect. At least we have a product and a law that we can deal with. Once we have that, let's move forward as people that want to see things succeed. Let's not work against each other. Everyone can come to the table and have a voice at the table. And that's what I love, love, love about cannabis. It brings people together from Democrat to Republican to independent, all the races. That's what I love about this particular plant because it creates a place or an experience where there are not a lot of barriers. So what I would suggest if someone wants to really get into this industry and help out this industry, actually leave a door open for someone that doesn't know anything about this industry and educate them. And for those that have been in this industry for a long time, lift up the other people that are trying to do their best to make this industry be successful. So it's all about education. If you know something, explain it to people, and then be willing to learn. If you know a whole lot, still be willing to learn from somebody that just got into the industry. I know I kind of circled around that, Gretchen, but the reason why I did that is because I'm seeing people enter into this space over and over again as things become legal across different states. And we're going to have all these, I call it a patchwork across this country. And so eventually when it becomes legal for the entire United States, everybody's going to be doing it their own special way, call it grandma's recipe, right? Everybody makes sugar cookies a different way. But the thing is, it still takes the basics, and the basics is communication. The basics is real estate. The basics is a good, healthy product. So someone that is using the end user of the product receives what they're supposed to have. So if we can get the basics correct, and we can lead in and teach other people, then we're going to solve the things that you're asking about.
All right. Well, and I think so many would probably agree with me that New York is, I look at it as the melting pot of cannabis. And frankly, CWCB is that place. I mean, if you want to meet everybody from all aspects of this industry, all walks of life, you'll definitely find them in New York at CWCBExpo. We are quickly approaching 420. So I want to give one more plug to your promo code, ThunderW. Please use it often. What last parting words of advice do you have for our audience?
Start somewhere. And, I love real estate. Even if you cannot purchase or lease a property, go out there and get you a web address, create that, and just hold on to it. It's going to make you money in the end. And then tell someone that's against cannabis, or maybe they may not have enough knowledge to be against cannabis. They're just on the fence. Actually share with them your why, and explain to them that really you don't really like cannabis until you need cannabis. And once you need cannabis, you want to know more. So why not start out right now just learning about it? Because there's always someone in the room, whether they have an immune deficiency, whether they have glaucoma, whether they have a child that has autism, or whether they just need to relax because they have anxiety. There's someone that can benefit from the plant, or maybe they just want to build a house and have something that's energy efficient that works for the community, and they can use hemp.
All right, Thunder, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so
you.
looking forward to seeing you in a few weeks at CWCBExpo. And for all of you out there, please don't forget to tune in every week to see who we are going to have on our live stream, and join us on our journey to Javits in June. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.